below there, we are going to look for Canva highlights specifically for your Instagram. So the first thing we are going to do when you come into Canva is you're going to come up here and look in your search. So you can go ahead and just type in Instagram highlights. And this is going to give you a whole bunch of different options here. So I love to, I mean, really all you're looking for too are the circles. So it doesn't really matter which ones you're choosing, but you want to make sure that you find something that's going to suit your style, your brand. And then from there, we can update this with your like your icons or your colors, and we can kind of go through that. So let's say, for example, we're going to go ahead and use this one here. I think this is great. And what you're looking for when you look for Instagram highlights is the words to be very big, or for them to be like on mine, I actually have just colors because I wasn't able to see them as well with my words because they were too big. So you want them to be able to be readable, or you can have an icon here. Okay. And I'll show you what that would look like. So if we go back here, there's some here that have icons. Like here's a good example. This one has an icon of like the question mark, the hearts, the hanger, the little chair. So those are what icons are. So you could either have icons, or you could have words, or you could just choose a solid color, kind of like mine. And you can see right here. So you can see this is a great example. You cannot read that text on that screen of that little bubble. So that little button bubble, right? So we would want to, so obviously I'm going to want to change this one here. But you can see that these are also my brand colors. So I have them as my brand colors, which allows people to kind of recognize me and my coloring. So I do have some different colors here that we can choose from. And if you have your brand kit already set up here, that's great. And if not, if you have the pro version, you actually get to be able to add your own colors. If you've never done that before, you actually can come back out here and go to home. And then from here, you can, oh, they changed it on me. I think I'm going to do it wrong. Brand, duh. So here you can actually create your brand kit, and you can come in here and just add in the colors. And so if you create one here, you would say, okay, great, this is, you would just name it whatever it is for you. Okay. And then from there, you can go ahead and add the colors to your palette. So you're like, okay, great, but what colors do I have? So for example, I just did this recently. Let me see if I can pull them up really quick. And let me grab this one here. I'm just going to copy that image, and I'm actually going to pull it over here onto a blank slide just so we can see what they look like. Okay. So on here, if we pull it up, we might be able to see the hex colors, but we're probably not going to on this image. This is a very bad example. I do apologize. Oh well. We will figure it out anyways, right? Because that's what we do. Okay, so we want to find out what these colors are specifically so we can add them to our brand kit. So there's a couple different ways that we can do that. Since you can't see the image numbers on here, the hex numbers, we can actually just click on the white page and then click this little background color. And what it does is it actually pulls up the colors here for us. So see that number right there where it says hashtag H or 8D79COC0, excuse me. That is actually the color that you're going to add here into your brand kit. Okay. So let me go ahead and write that down super quick. And you can just get them right from here. So if we do 8D, hashtag 8D79C0. Also, you can see that I have different tabs open for a reason. So I can immediately come over here and do this. Otherwise, I'm having to close out of my designs multiple times, and that becomes kind of frustrating. So, okay, great. So there we go. Now we've got our first color in our palette. And you can go ahead and continue to do this for all of them. I'm going to go ahead and grab this one as well. So C, C, A, 0, B, and D, and hashtag. All right, and then from here, you're going to go ahead and add them back in. You can do this for your colors, but you can also do this for your fonts, which is really, really nice to keep everything organized for you as you are building out your colors or your brand. So one thing you cannot do though is you can't move these. So if you're like me and you like to have them kind of go in like it makes sense, almost like a color wheel, then you're going to want to kind of put them in this way. Otherwise, it just looks all kind of funky. So you can also add in your fonts right here. I always like to have kind of a mixture of things. So the one that I choose quite a bit, I do April for my title. It's just kind of fat and funky. And then I also do, I do Lotto a lot I do Lotto a lot, haha, for a lot of my things, honestly. I use it a lot. And then I also like to use, let me click on my body. And here in my body, I also have, well, it skipped over my things. I also use Montserrat right there. So you can choose whichever ones you want. And then once it's all good to go, and then you can go ahead and back. But you can see in here in the brand kit, you can add your logo here. You can add your colors, your fonts. You can put your brand voice in here, your photos, your graphics. I haven't added any of these specific pieces in here, but maybe one day I will. But you can go back out once you've got it all in here. Now you can see that this brand kit has the colors that we would need. So this is the one that I have. It's all built out. These are the colors I use. These are the gradients I use as well for my content. So now that I have that, I can come back here. Okay. And I can click on this. Now, this was the whole purpose of why we got it started. So now we want to change this one to match our brand colors. Okay. So right here, once I clicked on that color, you can see down here at the bottom, it says change all. And what that does is it changes this original purple to the purple I chose. And since I want all of this to match, we're going to say change all. The next thing we're going to do is come here and we're going to do another one. So let's say, for example, now we want to change all of these. And then from here, we want to choose another color. And I'm going to go off of this picture right here because it's really, really close to kind of what I'm looking at. There's probably one other color. It looks like this really light pink. And I kind of think it's almost close to mine. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that and just kind of change it all over. Okay. Obviously, this orange needs to go. It does not match our color palette any longer. And I think that this is kind of nice just to have kind of a dark subtle color in there. So, okay, so this would be your highlight covers, okay? And in this example, you can come in here. And once you have identified all of the colors you want, then you can come in here and change this. So let's say, for example, you were doing this. So, and then you could do, see, maybe it's too big. I'd probably just do it like that, actually. And then here, maybe if you had a product and you wanted to show products, you could do something like that. You could have FAQ, So you have all these different examples. Now, here's one thing that I do recommend, and we're just going to kind of use this here, that anytime you're using highlights, I like to use a very simple strategy, which is like your website. So think about a website, okay? On the website, there are certain tabs specifically on the website. Normally you have a home or a get started. Then you also have a about section, about, or even about me. Okay. And then from here you have a work with me. This could also be called a like services, like what that looks like. And you can get creative. These don't have to be like the specific things. But this is kind of the idea of this. So you have the about, the work, the about, the home, the about, the work with me. You probably have a contact page. Okay. You have a contact page. And then from here, you probably also have maybe just like testimonials or maybe this is like the best of the best posts, something like that. Okay. And that's how you can kind of see that. Now, this is if you don't have a strategy right now, this is the very basic get started highlight strategy. Let's go take a look at mine and see how well I followed my own advice. All right. So I do have a start here. I have a work with me. I have a let's connect. I also have client love. These are my testimonials. I have support services, which is really nice. This is kind of like additional like work with me areas. I have some mini lessons, Instagram tutorials, and then 2025 stuff. So these three are, and even the MM series, these four actually are more just additional value added content and other things that I'm talking about versus the first five. But to be honest with you, just getting started, this is great. The last thing is that when you click on one of these highlights, you want to make sure that the highlights are not so outdated it doesn't make sense anymore. So you can see mine here. It started 179 weeks ago was the last time I updated this. But here's the good thing is all of this is still very, very relevant today in my business. So it's okay. But if it's not relevant anymore, clean out your highlights, make them stand out better, make sure that it makes sense that they're there, right? I love my Let's Connect. This is just a very basic slide that's just talking about that, how to connect with me on different platforms. If you're on different areas, keep them in your ecosystem and then even work with me, what that would look like as well. So I hope that this has been helpful just to think about your highlight strategy, how to update them in Canva. There's so many different ways to do this. Now, once you've done this, I would download this onto my phone. I'd open up the Canva app and I would actually download this straight to my phone, my camera roll. And then I would update my Instagram from my mobile. I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can do it on here, but you know what? Since we're here, let's check. I don't think we can. Last time I checked, I have a feeling. Maybe. No, all you can do is that, I think. You can't change the colors or anything. But I could come in here and actually select the stories. So that's kind of helpful. That's a nice feature that they now have. So you would want to update these colors, these colors or covers to your Instagram on your actual phone. So now that we both know that's really helpful. What's great about these when you do them here in Canva as well is that they give you these ones on the bottom. So once you change them here at the top, they also change them here at the bottom. So this is actually the one you would be using on your mobile. And what happens is you put one here and then the cover and you just slide it up and it then takes over that little bubble space. So you would have all of those here if you want to see what it would all look like. And then this actually is how it goes in as well. So here's another thing to think about. When you're doing your Instagram stories, whichever highlight is at the very top is the one that was the last one that received new content inside of it. So if you are one of those people who have to have things in certain order, let me tell you right now, this is going to be the best situation is to say, okay, great. I'm going to put my home stuff and like organize it, but then you also have to organize it inside of here and you can't just drag these. Unfortunately, they don't drag. So the last thing I put content in was actually my 2025, which is why it's first. If I wanted my start here, I would need to add something to my stories and then add it to my highlight and it would bounce this button up to the top. I hope that's helpful for you. I know there's a lot of steps in here, but overall, it's very, very simple once you do it one time. The first time, it's always hard, right? The second time, way easier. And the third time, you're a professional. You got this. Let me know if you have questions.